For fishers in southwest Madagascar, this is a familiar sight. Hundreds of wooden pirogues, sailed by the skilled Vezo seafaring people, navigate the choppy ocean strait between their village and the island of Nosihau. For the past 2 months, the reefs around the island have been off limits to local fishers to allow octopus, a crucial economic resource and source of food, to increase in both size and number. Like many small-scale fishers around the world, the Vezo people rely heavily on the ocean for their livelihoods, and the decline in marine life populations, driven primarily by an increase in demand and the destruction of habitats, presents a serious threat to the economic well-being of the Vezo. But today, this community is optimistic. As the reefs around the island reopen, fishers of all ages begin to search along the flats and sail out to deeper waters, hoping to be rewarded for their patience.
Temporary octopus fishery closures are where fishing communities close a proportion of their fishing site for somewhere around 3 months. This is because of the unique life cycle and growth rate of octopus, whereby they almost double in weight for the first 6 months of their life cycle. So a well-timed closure could allow young, smaller octopus the opportunity to grow nice, big and fat. And then upon opening, fishers would see an increase in their catch and earnings. From a fisheries management perspective, this offers communities the opportunity to see a really quick return on some kind of management investment.
450 kilometres to the north of Madagascar, Comoros is one of Africa's smallest nations, but its communities have big hopes for managing their oceans responsibly. Dahari, a Comorian NGO, has been working with communities to shape sustainable and productive landscapes for over 6 years. Their activities were initially focused on terrestrial conservation, but have now expanded to supporting fishing communities on the island.
Yangu mwa 2013 lapangwa zihazi nyingi za dahari za kunyamilia kabisa de mkabala wa monti, yani monti wantuloka mbadi waenshiu karibu na zimpaharuzo be wakati ya para mwa 2015 wandisa ufikiria mkabala wa ulanga wa baharini, maana watanaba hilo kamba wa maumewenyefu mengi wana bahati nyingi kamba wantu naka wasilia fete ulanga wa baharini watoshinda wasailishe ya maisha ya walozi. Kazi za baharini hizo de kamba wantu washinde watie barnamaji njiani lo kamba tutongesa walozi waishi pamoja na bahari wala wasidhuru ulanga wa baharini na wao maisha yao yajue yaendelee. Na mnazije defanywa hazini tahari wae fanya hazi ya kurubifu pamoja na wakazi hautaha awajumlise ahadisi na wao ile pare ajue mihimelo kamba duare mao harumu wazihazi za bahari zao ivo wapange shirika zihazizo wazi tienziani shirika atazwasuli salama salmini.
In 2017, Dahari and Blue Ventures coordinated a series of learning exchanges between fishing communities in Comoros and communities from the neighbouring islands of Madagascar and Zanzibar. During these visits, the Malagasy and Zanzibari fishers shared with their visitors what they had learned from over a decade of fisheries closures of their own.
Rende bushin hoho. Rende riono halua nyotsena wenshiwo hoho warangesa wasenshi halini na wasuhampilwa. Amba wani ne wakama orde wanyu hule amba kavwaka bahari kaka na zintu rende paramba wajaba ya bahari zao wafanya zama wajawa para manufa wayafanya da warangesa amba tongweni rifanya hasababu de bahari ile uribaya hule daraja raeshi taraja fanya zama taraja para ntongozeni bana.
The fishers who participated in the exchange were enthused and inspired by what they had learned and returned to their communities with a plan to develop fisheries management activities of their own. This led to the creation of one of the first associations of fisherwomen in the Comores, Mai Shabora.
Shama Shabora, shini shama shikaomba shipangwa banda ikaomba baadhi za watohozi wapara misafara wanda wao nozozijiro harma ntima jirani wapara na mafikira mengi pamoja na likungumanyo la dahari wajangia nguvu na jitihadi za utaha wanyawe ili washinde wahafilie haupange shama ili walee bahari yao.
Mai Shabora's first action was to engage communities from 3 villages. With support from Dahari and Mai Shabora, those communities established a temporary fishery closure over 4 months in 2018.
Marabai bahari faida handar situmaini disipiwe ngeze harwe bahari ya vili ile pare wahija wajeni wahija waja visiti waona bahari ya nzuzu harsi jwa bera regular tujwa mbavale wao kavuka raparo enda wasunu karaparo enda rajwa vale vwanya ngurabaya karaparo enda rajwa mbava au kavasi regular tujwa mbava au kavasi wo inaika para mbava ursingedza naikari paramba kavasi bode tuchokona shwamba bebo fanyejeshi.
On the day the fishery was reopened, fishers waited for low tide as usual and then walked out to search for octopus hidden in crevices in the reef. Their excitement was obvious.
Tijivua swafi vorabaya mana rangu na lama ore na jar na mahakumi na milizaidi na muja baharini taparo iwone vode tashila na isika leo tisiki kilo 7 nusu apresa zabone swafi ana rimoja halini lawa 2 kilo 3 kilo tisiki wengwa shinfu vavo lazima nifanye daira zaidi ya mana mavuna ya mema.
Aside from any long-term economic benefit a closure might deliver, the encouragement a community can get simply from seeing more and larger octopus after a short closure can galvanise them to become more involved in managing their local marine environment. It lets them see that they have the power to secure a better future for themselves. Nearly 9,000 kilometres away, on the Indonesian island of Darawa, a local fisher makes an offering known as Alo Anu Imbu to express gratitude to the community's ancestors before the octopus area is reopened. Unlike in Madagascar and Comoros, it's not uncommon for fishers here to hunt when the tide is high and face battle with both the current and the strong grip of the octopus. It is often a messy and violent encounter, yet a necessary one for anyone that relies on the ocean for their food and livelihood.
Kami pengguna sumber daya laut merasa resah dengan kondisi laut yang boleh dikata terjadi degradasi kaitannya dengan ekosistemnya. Di sisi lain, kami menyepakati sebuah ruang diskusi dengan nama Forum Kehidupan Todami atau Forkami, di mana kami juga pada saat itu menyepakati sebuah visi bersama, yaitu mewujudkan pengolahan sumber daya alam berbasis masyarakat secara berkelanjutan dengan bingkainya yaitu berbasis kearifan lokal masyarakat tadi.
Since the local organisation Forkani was founded over a decade ago, pioneering members of the community have been involved in the management of the ocean around Darawa Island. Members of Darawa's community who are reliant on the ocean are now also responsible for managing it.
Tentang pengelolaan musim tangkapan gurita di Darawa itu kita mulai dengan membangun kesepahaman dengan nelayan, pemerintah desa, pembeli, pemimpin adat. Lalu kemudian masyarakat sepakat untuk dimonitoring. Data monitoring setiap hari yang kita ukur itu ada berat per ekor, betina atau jantan. Terus data itu kemudian dikumpulkan setelah 3 bulan, data itu dianalisis per bulan, setiap bulan dikembalikan kepada kita, setiap 3 bulan kita umpan balik ke masyarakat. Apa pilihan-pilihan, apa pendapat masyarakat. Setelah 3 kali umpan balik, masyarakat memutuskan. Mereka menyusun aturannya, mereka memonitor sendiri, dan pada akhirnya mereka membuka itu pada tanggal 1 September setelah ditutup selama 3 bulan.
All of the information collected by Forcani is then analysed to show patterns in the octopus population over time and the effects that fishing can have on that population. This information is then presented to the community, giving them the opportunity to understand what impacts the closure of the fishery has had and what they can do in the future to manage their marine environment in a sustainable way.
Setelah dibuka kemarin itu saya juga goyang kepala. Saya tidak bisa berbicara begitu banyak, tapi kalau perkembangan untuk masalah size ada peningkatan di sisi termasuk di sisi keuntungan masyarakat. Selama 3 hari ini sampai kemarin itu saya bilang, Muhammad, kenapa sampai ada ukuran yang 6 kilo lebih itu saya heran. Artinya sebenarnya ada 3 sisi keuntungan setelah adanya kegiatan kesepakatan masyarakat ini. Pertama, ada kesadaran masyarakat. Kedua, peningkatan pendapatan masyarakat di situ. Nah, yang ketiga, persoalan perkembangbiakan daripada gurita di situ memang ada.
Back in southwest Madagascar, vast numbers of people have shown up for the first day of the octopus fishery opening in 2018. News of the results of the fishery closures has spread throughout the region, and in recent years, more fishers than ever before are turning out, hoping to get a share of the spoils.
Lafa misy ty reserve na olo tsy mpihaky regny, mihaky aby io tsy mahamaro ny horita eo. Fa laha ny olo mpihaky andavanandro avao, mety misy avao reserve eo mamokatry avao. Aveo ty hevitriko aminy la soa. Fe vasa olo tamy reserve lihany vasa olo maro mare de tsy misy horita. Zaho moa le mpihaky zao bakeny tsy nanday horita telo avao ka.
Fishers in the Volondriac locally managed marine area, where this opening took place, are represented by a designated committee made up of members of the community. The committee noticed that in recent years there had been a change in the attitude towards octopus fishery closures.
Ireo komite reo moa zany uson'ny tena pokon'olo avy amin'ny tanà zay manday ny fitaraina sy ny hitahita-pokon'olo rehefa misy raha tsy mandeha eo amin'izay fitantanana jona horita zay. De tamin'ny tao lasa hita fa nisy zany le vokatsy soa fa ny fokon'olo nisy avao koa zany ny fokon'olo zay nahita fa tsy nahomby zay réserve fisokafana réserve tamin'ny tao lasa zay. De zay zany nanao zany fampitaha am'izay zany rozy vokatsy horita nanomboka tamin'ny 2016, 2017 sy 2018. De ny raha tsapa tao zany de hita fa ny maro ny faritsy ny hilia kanefa nanaraka an'izay koa maro koa olo mihaky de hita am'izay koa nefa le vokatsy horita fa latsaky tsy niampy. De nieritserity zany rozy teo hoe ino ny raha tokony hatao mba hahafaha manarana an'izay resaka jona horita zay. Lefa nivory zany ny komity velondrika de nisy hevitsy telo nitsiry tao anatin'izay fivorian-drozy zay. De le hevitsy voalohany moa zany hevitsy zay nihitan-drozy tamin'ny Facebook ka tain-drozy ho natao hatao amin'ny faritsy tia de ny fanamboarana lavakorita artificielle. De hevitsy faharoa de ny faneliana ny faritsy velondriaka mandritra ny vola raiky na vola raiky sy tapany. De hevitsy fahatelo fangalasa olo tena raiky isan-trano mandritra ny fivohana horita.
The committee members will consult with their communities to find out which management option they support the most. Then they will all reconvene and make a final decision for the whole Valandriac area.
Laha amiko manoka moa zany hita fa misy fivoarana zany ao, misy fitiavana amin'ny fikolokoloa ny jony horita mba hampaharitra azy hitako aty amin'ny fahazo velondreka atoy. Tsy mahanjy ela zany zao fa tiako hita sahady hoe hanao akory zay vokatsy ny fanapahan-kevitsy teo farany zay hatao zay.
Over the years, communities in southwest Madagascar have seen proof that temporary octopus fishery closures work, but only when the number of fishes is controlled and when the areas where octopus live and breed are protected from destruction. Those communities are now using the scientific information collected about each fishery to understand the challenges they face and are using their own creativity to develop new ideas for managing these fisheries. Octopus fishery closures are really just the first step in a longer process towards creating areas of the coast and sea which are managed by the community with their needs and goals in mind.